right, welcome to the third best post-race show brought to you by Broke Amateur Racing and RMX. I'm Chase, here with my counterpart Sam. We got Joe and Riley Tiencum and Cam Horner. We're going to go through a little bit about this weekend's race, and this is Delta Round 3, South Round of the RMX Series. So,
Dry Delta.
Saturday,
The first
very
one.
dry.
Delta, wet Delta. First round, right? Because this is the second time we've been to Delta. This is a dry Delta.
Yeah.
Not anymore, though.
No. It's hailing as we speak. Do we want to go into track conditions or go into some results?
Well, I think we could segue right into track conditions, that being said, because last time we were here, it was a mud fest for, 3/4 of the time that we were here.
Snow.
And now we saw, with set aside some wind that kind of dried the track out on Friday pretty good. Then Saturday and Sunday, I think we got to see what Delta is really about for the most part.
Did you get a new tractor?
Got a new tractor, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we've been borrowing. It's got a Power Harrow. We used one, I guess, for the Loretta qualifier. So RMX speaking, I think this might be the first time we've used it at a official RMX race, because we were borrowing one from Matt Chiron. So thank you to him for letting us borrow it, and then we bought one of our own. So yeah, Power Harrow.
So today when I looked out, at one point it seemed like you had 2 Power Harrows on the start.
Yeah.
And then you still have your Deep Ripper behind your old Massey Ferguson.
Yep.
And you have the Dozer. So
yep.
I mean, it looked like a Pro National when I looked over there, and there's 2 tractors
Yeah.
making laps on the start, which is always really important to me that gets
Yep.
softened up, tilled up, loosened up, and it's, makes it consistent for everybody all day. So
Yeah.
it looked really cool, and, that's the first thing I saw when I came out of the motorhome this morning.
Yeah, I even made that comment to Gavin because we were the ones driving them around, and I even made that comment that it was cool because I think my dad had the Dozer parked by then, but we had the Dozer out there doing some final touches. We had Gavin and I on the start, and then I was bouncing back and forth from that to the water truck. So we were running quite the operation. I thought it was pretty cool. So.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, let's talk some racing. We got 50 open. Sawyer Geek 1-1. Ryden Morgan 2-2. Chance Sharon 3-3. Nico Chavez 6-4.
Yeah, and Joe's got the lap times there. Sawyer is the man to beat in 50s. It's kind of been obvious for the past little bit, but the other kids are coming. Because Rai has the ability to lead a lap here and there if he gets the start on Sawyer. And then Sharon, Chavez, and I'm drawing a blank on any other names that stand out, but I think that they are younger than Sawyer. They've got to be, because Sawyer, I think this is probably his last year on a 50, so they're younger and they're gaining fast. So it's pretty cool to see.
They're not going around the outsides, the easy lines. They're going right through these massive braking bumps, the size of their bikes, just charging. Yeah. It's impressive to watch,
they're not scared, but when you look at the names, they've pretty much ridden RMX their entire lives, and so they don't know any different.
Right.
They're not looking for the smooth line because they've never seen the smooth line. You know what I mean?
So I think Sawyer did lead a lap, right? Because that's what I got going here, and not Sawyer, but Ryder, and that's what I saw.
Yeah.
And that's what to me, to see that for him, because I know when these young racers to get a chance to even lead a lap against someone like Sawyer, who is obviously at the top of the class, going to Loretta's, contender for a national title, like it's a real deal.
Yeah.
And there's a kid, that's younger than him, and to do that was pretty cool. And I think it started with a whole shot.
Yeah.
And that's how he did it. And then at the end, so lap 5, it was a 55.4 for Sawyer and a 57.9 for Ryden. So, they call him Rai, but, even that, still pretty good, to keep it within 2.5 seconds.
Yeah.
So I think that was pretty cool, and I'm sure they were pumped. And obviously, Sawyer had some laps in the middle that were, way better. But in the end.
Yeah, but for kids like Rai to be able to do that with a kid like Sawyer that can turn around and run second or, run up front, lead laps in a 65 open moto too, that's, that's pretty cool. So really good there.
Yeah, those kids, I don't watch 50 racing ever, probably never before, and they just happened to come by, and I was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
These kids are charging
They're
through the bump.
it.
It was entertaining to watch a 50 race.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Next up, we got plus 20 open, super fun RMX round or class that they put on. That's always fun.
Yeah, some of the best. I think I said this in another post-race show, but it's some of the best racing of the weekend. If you actually watch it, you would kind of, when you see that, when you see some vet classes and stuff, I think a lot of people are, I'm just here for the Pro Moto or whether it's Schoolboy 2 or Super Mini or whatever. But there's really, really good racing in plus 20 open, because then you get really good guys like yourself, Chase, and then because you had a really good battle with Damon back.
It was super fun.
And Damon doesn't come around often, but he still goes pretty fast. And so, yeah, that was a good battle up front. And then you always have Parker Sampson and Mason Bangeter battling till the death, it seems like, for that, 3-4 spot. So, yeah, it's actually really, really good racing.
Is now a good time to just straight up call you out? I mean, the fact that you won the class and now we're talking about the class, I mean, nothing else. We're good with that.
That's all I got. Just let me have something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that's the first thing. So that's good. It's 1-1. I know we're not supposed to read these because it gets old. No one wants to hear us read these things over and over again.
It is my first one of the year.
Yeah. So I guess what's the deal here? It's pretty locked up, 1, 3, 4 until you get to Mason Bangeter, and that's what you said. So we got Mason Bangeter with a 7-2, and we got Parker Sampson with a 6-5.
And Damon didn't come back for the second moto.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
So that's what happened. So you usually battle with him?
I don't think I've ever raced him before. Maybe in Twilla at Open Pro
I guess,
on Sunday.
Maybe in Twilla, because that was the last time we've seen him.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
And you could race that class if you wanted to?
I could race that class if I wanted to.
Nope.
Apparently I've been overruled.
Take away the glory?
Yeah. I just hand him money every weekend in plus 25, Open Pro, everything. Just you stay over there.
So the real question we want to know is gift card or trophy?
Oh, gift card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just checking.
Yeah, we got parts to buy, Joe.
Okay, that's all right. I understand. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was good. It was exciting. It was good racing.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd Sam end up on there?
Ooh.
Too far down.
Dude,
Hold on.
This
Did I
is my
see
best
him whole
finish.
shot though?
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Whole
See, you were
shot
up front.
Gone. Almost died over the first table.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Almost
In
jumped
front of
into him.
everybody.
Jumped sideways. Oh, that's the same moto that I went off the side of this big step up right here in the trailer. Got some crazy wheel spin. Went off to the side, trying not to jump into Mikey. Landed my front wheel on the track. The rest of the bike was totally on the side, but wasn't sketchy at all. It was pretty solid.
Did you have the ladies gasping?
That's what I do, Joe.
That's what I do.
Not in the good way.
Yeah, same. That's what I do.
But no, this is my best finish in that class so far.
What's your overall?
It's 6th place with 5.6. So
Good. With a whole shot?
whole shot,
With the whole shot.
almost whole shot of both motos. But I mean, got to work on my physique. I was going for the Clydesdale Classic. Don't think we'll make it. Maybe next year.
Saturday, Open Am, one moto format. We got Cam Horner walking away with it pretty good. Jesse James got 4th in that one. I was out there getting some shots on the GoPro, hiding behind a hay bale, sticking the GoPro out. He came off of that infield little table and blasted the hay bale right in front of me and went down, and I proceeded to film until I realized he was stuck under his machine. Then I kind of felt bad. I went over there and helped him pick up his bike, and then he proceeded to roost the crap out of me, which maybe I deserved it. Fair.
A little late on the pickup, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought we were all grown men here, and we picked up our own machines. But sorry, Jesse James.
Well, and so he finished what position in that moto?
He got 4th.
4th
So-
with a fall and
Yeah.
nobody helping him.
Yeah, he was
Seems
down
really-
for good 7 seconds probably.
Yeah.
It was.
Okay, so he's riding really good
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, he was riding third. He fell back to like 5th.
Mm-hmm. And yeah,
Okay.
he worked his way back up.
Past Sophia.
Yeah. Yeah, he got back past, I think, Niedenhauser and Phelps, Sophia Phelps.
She went down hard that corner too.
They were battling really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3rd place, there's those three were just running all over the place.
Yeah.
Like a bungee.
I think, and we've said this over and over again because it's the same kids, but I think it's worth mentioning. So Cam Horner, Wade Huffman, obviously riding awesome. Skip down one. Jesse James is riding great on a 250F, but Connor Lords put it in the top 3 on a 125.
That's
So you have
impressive.
two 450s and then a 125.
Yeah.
That's if that's not open am, I don't really know what
Phelps,
is.
Phelps was coming for him too.
Right, and
And Jesse
she's riding great too. They're all riding great. I just that Connor's name keeps standing out in my mind, and then you see some of the stuff he does on the track and where he is on the track, and he is riding really, really good.
And with Connor, I've rode with him in the desert before, and he puts in the work. He keeps riding when I'm riding, and he's rode more than me when I've gone out there. So props to him for that, and he's doing really good on the track this year.
So he's a testament to just putting in the laps and putting in the work, no quit. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I noticed Wade. He also went to an amateur all stars. He finished second in open am. He's really good at that low RPM riding as well. Just smooth.
Yep.
For the parts of the track I was standing on, just lugging it around and putting in good results.
Yeah, and I guess it was probably Schoolboy 2, which we'll get to in a minute if we get there. Amateur All-Star, I don't know, because Connor, we were talking about this before we went on air, that Connor had a bike problem. I don't know which moto it was in. Would that have been Schoolboy 2? So his results might be pretty skewed on Sunday because he had a bike problem. They were messing with the shifter. Looks like he might have broke a shift shaft or something like that. But he was riding awesome in the moto that happened in. So his results are probably a little bit skewed for Sunday, but he was riding really good. Did Hayden go 1-1 in Schoolboy 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he's riding really good. We don't have Casey Clinton right now. He was flagging the big jump in the middle because he just had ACL surgery. So but it's still Hayden 1-1. He rode awesome, and then like I said, what I saw was Hayden riding great 1-1. Connor on his butt until his bike broke, and Joe said he even led a couple laps in the first one.
So did anybody see? Did Connor hole shot? Is that how he got in front?
Connor hole shotted the last moto
Okay.
today, I believe.
Okay, so because Connor went 2:13, but I thought it was the first moto today that he led laps, and Hayden was putting everything he had on to get around him, and Connor just kept holding him off. So I had it the other way around. So that was the second one. So he did hole shot, and then he held him off until the bike broke. Yeah, it was.
Hayden got around
That's right.
before his bike broke, and then he did 2 laps, and then his bike broke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're right. It's not like the bike broke and that's why Hayden got him, and I didn't mean to say that. But yeah, that I guess to see because Hayden went past the finish, around the corner, up the hill, right? So Hayden outpowered him and was gaining by the time he got to the top. Outpowered him down the sand stretch, had him coming into the corner. I thought he just had the pass made, and so Hayden had the middle, and Connor was on the left, and Hayden just basically relaxed, got ready to make the left to cut in, and Connor just hit the throttle one more time and beat him to the corner again. And then and that's how he held him off the first time. And then it was a whole nother lap of that again. So I was shocked when I saw Connor do it. I just assumed that Hayden had it. Like that was it. I was ready to stop watching and move on. And no, it was a whole nother lap of that. So it was. And it's not like Connor's some fighter or Hayden's not or anything like that, but they were racing really hard.
That's cool.
And to do that for a couple laps in a row was awesome to watch.
Yeah, and you got Zach Bullard, 4-4 for third.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Pretty good finish there.
Yeah, what's the lap times? Was he right there? Or was it distant? I was just fixated with those two.
He went a 2:03 to Hayden Morgan's 1:49. Yeah, so he was pretty far off.
Yeah,
from
so
the top two.
So he had a strong finish in third, but those other two were just gone.
Yeah, moving.
Yeah. Yep. So I guess I don't think we have the results, but if we're going to talk about those guys, we should talk about yesterday with Braxton and Jesse James. Did anybody get to watch those motos?
I did not see this, so this is all you.
Anybody? You didn't see them?
I'm not sure. Spark my memory.
Okay, so Hayden Morgan, right? So his brother Braxton rides a 125. So it was a reverse of what you saw today. So today we had Hayden Morgan on a 250F, outpowering Connor every chance he got, right? Kind of making it look easy. Connor just working, right? He broke a shift shaft, just shift, right? Everything he's got to do it. Yesterday, it was Braxton, Hayden's younger brother, against Jesse James. Jesse James pretty much came out on top except for the time that, you let him almost get burned underneath his bike, right? I mean, I mean, just for the shot, right? Anything
Yeah.
for the footage, but I get it. So Braxton chased and chased and chased and chased, just like that. But he wasn't able. I don't think he got any good starts. Cam, did Braxton ever get a good start? Did he ever get to lead at all?
He was always inside the top 5, but he was never up there in the front. He was always a few people back.
So did both those? So did Jesse James get bad starts too? Or not bad, but like not whole shots. Is that why they were together all the time? Is because they both got poor starts?
I wouldn't say Jesse had bad starts. I mean, I don't specifically remember him doing something crazy where he'd have like a bike length lead at the top.
So, but are those two doing? Because you're watching the starts. Are they started? So you said Brax is in the top 5. So are they starting 4 or 5 and coming through the pack together?
That's
or
what
is Brax
that's
starting
what I'm
5
wondering.
and Jesse starting 1 or 2? And is Brax's sprint speed catching Jesse and then chasing from there? What do we got
Wait,
going on?
Hold on, what class is this?
Well, it would have been 250C
Yeah, 250C, right?
junior, right? It would have been the younger 250C. T-Bird needs a
Microphone.
mic when he talks.
Like you just watch Braxton's first corner out of the rollers. Braxton's there every time. Doesn't matter. I don't think it's a matter of he's on the smaller bike. You look at it, the power numbers. A freaking KTM 125 makes as much as a Honda 250. So it's not
Yeah.
really the power advantage at all.
Yeah.
So
Well, there you go. I mean, it seemed like, and I guess maybe we need a pro tip on that. It just seems like Brax is doing everything he can do to make that bike come out of the corner, and Jesse James is still
It's
able
easier
to
to ride.
So
able to walk
what
away
I've
from it.
heard from, what I just heard from Cam, and then what I just heard from T. So Cam says that his starts were somewhere around the top 5, and now T's telling me that by the time he's in the rollers, he's in second. So that tells me that he's getting outpowered up the hill, and then he is using aggression or racecraft or whatever
Yep.
to make sure that he is in second or whatever, by the time that they get to the rollers. You come across the top of Bunker Hill, there's opportunity there no matter what place you're in to charge through those breaker bumps deeper than anybody else, and then
Yep.
you go under Bunker Hill rollers, and you've got 2 tight rut corners that
Yep.
you can mix up your lines, you can be aggressive, you can do whatever, and it sounds like that's what Brax is doing. It's
Yep.
just aggression, first lap aggression to make
Yep.
up for a bad start.
Yeah, I think that Brax, I mean, last year at Loretta's, I talked to him about the RMX Academy. It seems like if he can clean up a couple of things,
Yeah.
and he can figure out a way to maybe roll his turns or I don't know, whatever else you've seen, but he's right there. And I guess it's hard when Jesse seems like he's smooth and he's out front and he's just riding his race, and Brax is just going crazy behind him,
Yeah.
doing everything he can. So I'm not saying that Jesse, is superior necessarily or is technique perfect and couldn't use time, right? It's not that, but it just seems like Brax is having to throw everything he's got at it.
Yeah.
And then it's just tough. It's tough to keep the bike going the way he wants it to go.
Yeah, and those two are perfect examples of, I think, what everybody deals with in the pits. You have kids that don't want to take risks, and they just make sure everything is perfect all the time, and that's
Yeah.
kind of Jesse. And then Brax is, he wants it so bad, not that Jesse doesn't or anybody else
Right.
doesn't, but he wants it so bad that he can't get his brain to slow down long enough to think about, certain fundamentals and different things,
Yeah.
and so it's kind of I think those two are the perfect example of basically the two types of riders that you have
Sure.
in motocross.
Do you do that RMX Academy? Do you do like you take the brake pedal off, take the seat off, take the clutch off? I mean,
Yeah.
you hardcore, or you try to?
I'm not as hardcore as I should be. I haven't in the past, but from some things that I've seen and some things that I want to do, yes, I'm getting there, and that's the plan
So-
from here on out.
All right.
Yeah,
all right,
because
well,
it's telling, it's not, for kids like Brax, it's not that they don't want to do it. It's not
Yeah.
that they can't do it. It's that their brain is just, he wants it so bad,
Mhm.
and he's, so a kid like that, and he can't get himself to do it. He just can't. I can tell him
Yeah.
100 times, but he just wants to
Yeah.
go fast. So that is where taking the brake pedal off, taking the seat off, and then forcing them
Yeah.
into it, and then that will click in their brains.
And I think if it took you 3 weeks at the RMX Academy to do that, if you had to be there the whole month of July to get
Yep.
it done, this isn't stuff you're going to get in a couple days or a couple talks about body position or other things that are going on the bike, Sam, right? It's going to take like regripping. You can't just regrip
Yeah.
once and then forget about it. Right? It takes that. So it's going to take
yeah.
a couple weeks. People got to be a little more dedicated to that.
Yeah. There's no, and this is I mean, this is a way longer discussion than we want to get into because it seems like it's a generational thing. But everybody wants a quick fix to
Yeah.
something, right?
Sure.
I can tell you if I made notes, I could tell you everything that you need to know, everything that I know about racing a dirt bike, to be as good as you can be in 20 minutes. You know what I mean? I could hash that out in 20 minutes to tell you every, where your feet need to be, where your hands need to be, all of that stuff. But that's not, you can't just go do it. It's way easier said than done. It takes hours, hours and hours and hours, hundreds of hours, So.
Yep, it was good.
We're on to the 250A and 250B motos. Colton Dean's back. He showed up and raced yesterday.
Yep.
I think he was off for 9 months with a
Yeah, it's been a
knee.
long time.
Yeah,
Yep.
so good to have him back. He was out there.
Yeah, and he's shooting for Lakewood. I think the Lakewood National
Wow,
is
That's cool.
His plan right now. I
that'd
think
be cool.
So.
250B, a lot of the same guys. Got Wade Huffman, Connor Lords, Hayden Morgan again. Yep, all about the same. Hayden Morgan did go 6-2 for third, so it's a good mix-up. And Gabe Niedenhauser went 2-9 for 6.
Okay, so quite the shake up there.
25A was with 250A. Gets a little chaotic being on one gate, but I think it is nice. Great Davenport, 4-1 for the overall in 25A.
Wow.
I was part of this, and so, in some ways it's weird for me to touch on this, but look at the top 4. We all tied. We all had 5 points.
Yeah.
You had
Wow.
4-1, 2-3, 3-2, and 1-4.
That is pretty amazing.
But between Gray, myself, Austin Koba, and Fuzzy Humphreys.
Yeah, a little moto dork math there.
Yeah.
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 Sweet.
I know this because I could have went 2-2 for the overall, and I decided to front flip in the sand instead. So
Yep.
I did the math when I was sitting there kicking myself for doing that.
Yeah, Gray's super consistent. 144s,
Chase
145s.
Adams guy's way off the pace.
It was a rough day yesterday.
Yeah, 158.
Yeah, there's a 20 something in there, I think, too. 207.
Was the track faster yesterday, faster today?
Yesterday was definitely faster.
Yesterday I think was faster.
Yesterday,
I don't know. I guess I think I would attribute that to the wind on Friday and Friday night. I think it kind of pulled the moisture out of it, kept it a little bit tighter. It was still really good. Today, Sunday, I thought it was going to be faster just because we have a quick turnaround. The prep isn't – well, we leave some things rough. But the stuff that we do prep, it's a quick turnaround. I don't get as much water on it, stuff like that. And then the turnout has typically been lower. So I thought today was going to be smoother, but I think it was slower today.
Slower today.
Yeah.
So I think that some of the misconceptions, you see dust out there with today's wind. There wasn't anything that could be done about that. We can't water everything, not
Yep.
everything can be wetted down. And I think the fact that the track did get rough today, is a testament to the new tiller.
Mm-hmm.
More of them working. Sunday's not a give up on prep day.
No.
If anything, the motos were longer today. The track was just as rough. But lap time wise, I think Chance Hymas did go faster today than he did yesterday.
Okay.
So he got down to, I want to say 138, 139,
Okay.
138 in qualifying, and then like a 139.1 in the race a couple of times.
Yeah.
Your lap times, I looked at them while we were racing, and
Uh-huh.
and you were consistent. Cam actually did get down. Cam Horner did get below his yesterday time today as well, just barely. His average was not as good, so I don't know how to explain that. I don't explain how the average was maybe worse.
Today?
Today, but yet the max fast, the best lap was. And so if we broke yours down the same way, I don't know how a track that produces averages that are worse, but fast times that are better. Because
The way that I would at least try to explain that, and I try not to chase myself around here. You take a track that's a little bit harder, maybe a little bit slick. You kind of try to find a groove. You get in a groove. You set a pace, and you always try to do that. Today, knowing now that some guys went faster today than they did yesterday, there was a little bit more traction today, so the ruts were really grabby. you know, and so I think that maybe that has something to do with it. When everything went right, you know, for someone that really likes ruts, really excels in rough, you know, bumpy stuff, if everything went right, you never dabbed your foot in a corner, that's your fast lap. That's faster than yesterday. But trying to do that, you know,
Over
the
and over
ruts
again.
were kind of grabbing, so you'd kind of dab your foot, or you would wheelie where you didn't think you were going to wheelie,
Yep.
chop the throttle, you know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
it was, yeah.
So Sam, what about the outsides? So I saw Hymas do outsides today in fast laps. Maybe not the fastest, but he did them. So you're an outside guy. So is that what it was? So you're saying the insides, when they were perfect, and I saw some really good corners out of a lot of you guys. But I also saw people using outsides that I don't normally see. Did you use outsides? Or did you? I know Sam
I didn't
did.
really use outsides today.
You didn't
I was
do it.
mostly inside, and so that's where that thought came to my mind was the ruts that I was using were really deep, really grabby, and so if I hit them right, they were like, man, that was awesome. But
Yeah.
I could only do that every other lap. I would dab my foot, or it would grab my front tire or something like that.
So were they better today, Sam?
They were definitely better today.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of them weren't. I don't know if they weren't as slick. I felt like they were tackier today. Some of the berms were a little bit taller, so you could rail them,
Yeah.
get into them a little bit more. But I mean, when all you ride is outsides, that's all you know.
Right. You guys think there's a hard bottom in the ruts? You think we're getting the same bumps day after day after day in the bottom of our ruts, or are ruts changing based on the track and the prep?
They're
definitely
changing.
They're different.
Yeah.
for sure.
They're different. They form nearly the same, but if you look at them, they're different ruts.
Yeah.
They feel like they form in the exact same spots, but they're not. And where the bumps are is different every day. This track is always changing, and it's never the same.
So that's all prep, right? I mean, earthwork is what I do, and that's all prep. I've been to all these tracks. I just saw a post on Instagram. I'm not going to say who it was, and he was super proud of his prep. And I had the whole thing typed up, my comment that said, "Drop the ripper, 3 more holes." You know, because you can see when he's ripping, you can see where he's at. Your ripper's as low as it goes.
Yeah.
And your tiller is just a beautifier, right? That you're
Yeah.
just spending money on the track to make it nice for the riders. That's all that is, right? The real rippers are doing the work. And the fact that Cam doesn't think the bumps are the same, you don't think the bumps the same. If you guys have ridden other places, big tracks, national amateur races, and that bump has been there for 20 years. Like, it's the same bump in the same rut.
Yeah.
And it never changes because they're unwilling to do it.
Yeah.
And so I think the only other race that I've ever been to that's national is Loretta's, that the bumps aren't the same.
Yeah.
Right? Because Loretta's is like here. And so the prep for what you just had here, where it's a different track, it's a different day.
Yeah.
Like, maybe lap times were a hair faster, and one guy's like, I don't know, man, I thought it was sticky and I wasn't as fast, and the other guy's like, I don't know, it worked for me.
Yeah.
The outsides are better. And that is what I saw at Loretta's. I've only been there one time.
Yeah.
But I pay attention, when I go there, and what you're doing is the same, or even, honestly, even a step better, right? Because it's pretty. But between what you did today on the start with your new starting gate,
The new starting gate, hydraulic lift. Yeah. Pretty
how
sweet.
tall are those gates? Huh?
They're pretty tall.
No,
Yeah.
no one's
No cheater gates.
no cheater gates.
It's the same gate, same company, same gate as the one that was in
Yeah.
here before. So, but they do seem like they're a little bit taller.
Yeah, they're rock solid.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, no, that you go to Loretta's and that you race for a week straight, bikes around the track every single day, and the track is never the same.
Right.
Yeah, so,
yeah,
you know,
there's
like
an
what you're
inside,
saying.
there's a middle,
Yeah.
there's a next. Yeah, there's 8 ruts.
Yeah.
But you're not hitting that same bump that was there
No.
because someone just didn't feel like
Right.
dropping the ripper.
Yeah.
As much as they're so proud of their stuff,
Yeah.
So, Chase, what do you got for qualifying? You want to talk about that?
Yes.
Today's qualifying deal?
Where is it?
It's got to be in here somewhere.
Yeah, it's filmed.
So today,
There you go, buddy.
ooh, there it is.
All right. We got on Sundays the Open Pro class. We do qualifying after the first 5 practices, I think. Today it was at least. And the pros line up. I think we get about 6 laps or so.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere around 10 minutes, which usually works out to be.
Could you pros do the first practice too? You
We can do the first practice.
So
yeah.
you could go out and get warmed
Yeah.
up and then go out and do your 6th lap if you wanted
Yeah.
to.
Right.
But you don't.
Yep.
I mean,
I did.
you did?
I rode
Oh.
Abe's bike.
Oh, that's right.
Mhm.
Chase rode the 2-stroke
It was,
today.
It was fun. Back to my
We should have done the swap on the
Yep.
during qualifying. We should have just timed you.
See where we're at.
Yeah, that's what we should have done.
Yeah, probably could have helped.
Take what we can get.
So I think probably the fastest lap of the day was in qualifying. Chance Hymas, 138.9.
Mhm.
He
Wow.
beat it in his Open Pro moto.
Wow.
138.3.
That's
Wow,
impressive.
that's super impressive.
Yeah.
McCoy really, he got a 141, a 140.1. Cray Davenport, they said 37 years old, turning a 141.6. And Gavin right here behind him, and Riley very far down, very far down.
What did you do in qualifying? What was, breakfast burrito?
No excuses by
Quesadilla.
any means, but I didn't do any type of warm up before, and I was really sore and stiff from yesterday.
Really?
So I got out on. I didn't have time.
Oh, because you racked
I was in
yesterday.
the water. I didn't. Well, I crashed. That's not why I was sore. I was just
Oh.
sore from I rode hard yesterday. But
What's going on here?
Right. Oh, we're just looking how Chase's times are faster than Riley's.
Lifelong goal.
Okay, so we just
That's it.
assumed. We just
That's
assumed,
it. So
we assumed
yeah.
that you pulled over and watered during practice or something, or a flagger
No, and that's this.
needed
This
help, or-
wasn't really my
nothing.
pro tip, but I mean, this could be a side note, or this could be the pro
Oh.
tip.
Wait.
What?
Literally, this is it.
This
This
could
pro
be
tip?
it. I have a different one, but this could be it.
We could do 2.
And we can do 2. That is no excuses. Bottom line, I sucked, but
Oh.
and yeah.
That was a pro tip.
I was gonna say.
I did not do any
feel-
type of warm up.
Okay, so
I
you're-
went from the water truck to the tractor to putting my gear on to the line. My body was stiff. I was cold. I was sore from
Huh.
yesterday.
No jumping jacks at the line.
Yeah.
No jumping jacks at the line, just straight. So everything was tight. The bike was tight. The suspension's cold. Everything's nothing
Yeah.
really wants to work. Your bike
Right.
doesn't really want to work. So this can be the pro tip if we want it to be the pro tip. Is a solid warm up.
Huh.
In the mornings, and that can even be, for me, that's jumping jacks and that's some stretching. That's getting my body to move around. For guys, if you don't want to do that, or if you can't find time to do that, do your practice session and then come back and stretch out a little bit. Just get the blood flowing. Make sure you hit that practice session. Don't skip it. Don't go straight into your moto.
Yeah.
So get the body loose. Get it
So
warm.
you think if you could have done the first practice session, got that out, so when you could have pumped up, you could have done whatever, got that
Yeah.
lactic acid out of your muscles, and then
Yep.
you could have started over.
Yeah.
Right. So you probably should have done, if you could have, a
Mhm.
couple laps like Chase did, and the other one, or
Yep.
you think the jumping jack thing is enough.
Yeah, and that's not 10 jumping jacks. That's jumping jacks for a solid minute or
Oh,
more. Really get
wow.
the blood flowing, and then do some other stuff. Swing your legs around, swing your arms around it. Whatever you can do to
Do the
get the
windmill.
blood flowing and get the muscles warmed up.
Here, I'm gonna stop you right here though. The water truck thing. I am a mean water truck driver, and we all know it. You can ask anyone that was at the Willow track.
I'm
There was not a speck of dust in the air on Wednesday,
good job.
so you should have just asked me. Except it might have been a little wet, but it's
Yeah.
Sundays. I think Sundays should be prepped way gnarlier than Saturdays, because if you're staying Sunday, you want to ride. Let's make it gnarly. There's no point in having a smooth track. Even like
Well,
I say, here, I'll let you talk.
so that's why. But what did we do today? You didn't ride, so you probably don't know. We left stuff rough.
Oh,
Anything
yeah,
that
I
was
know.
sand, we left it rough. The sand section was a monster today.
I've never
that's
seen
I know,
it get
but-
that deep up top.
Yeah.
If we can,
Never.
and this is little, insider info on what we do when we're prepping the track on Saturday night. Nobody really wants to ride a hard packed slick. When the ruts start to get baked
Yeah.
and stuff, that's not fun. If there is
Yeah.
something at any of the tracks we go to, if it's sandy or we manage to keep it wet and soft all day long, if it still has a chance to get deeper and get rougher the next day, we leave it. That's the decision making behind. When you wake up in the morning and you see that the sand got left rough, and we didn't just get lazy and decide that we weren't going to prep the sand. That was there's, like I said, there's fewer classes. The turnout is a little bit lower on Sundays. We want the track to be challenging still, and so we leave what we can rough.
And a little extra water never hurts.
Okay.
We all
work
know.
on it.
We all
I'll
know.
work on it. You need to install a light bar on the water truck.
I will.
You threatened like a couple months ago, and then it never happened.
Well, you never bought a light bar for it.
Fair enough.
For all the right reasons.
Probably.
Open pro.
Yeah, right into Open Pro. Pretty standard. Chance Hymas 1-1, Riley Bruff 2-2, Gavin, his brother, right behind him with the 3.3. And then Jace Baldwin, 6'4" for fourth. So that was a good ride.
Gavin and Fuzzy Humphreys had gnarly battles both motos. I was watching them they were just far enough behind me that I could turn a corner and see them, and they were all over each other, both motos for the most part, I feel like. Until Gavin got around him in the second moto and came after me, but yeah.
Yeah, so I guess for me with the Gray Davenport, I mean, you read the top few off there, but I mean, Gray Davenport's got 11 DNS on here. We already talked about him once, so
Yeah.
I saw a crash in the sand. You were on the track
Yeah.
in the sand, so you were behind him
Right
when he
behind
crashed.
Big crash, yeah. So
Okay.
Gray, we've touched on this before. He's 37 years old. He's done really cool things, in my opinion, when he was younger. Goes really fast. He still has insane sprint speed.
Yep.
So if we want to talk about that moto that leads up to his crash for a second, Hymas and Davenport started 1-2. I was in third, I believe, and those
with
two
Davenport in the lead.
with Davenport whole shot. Okay,
Yeah, whole
okay.
shot and held him off
So-
for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so those two were gone. They were out of town. Their sprint speed was ridiculous. I came off the downhill. Davenport was stalled at the bottom of the downhill. He took off with me right behind him, and then
So that's how Chance got around him, right?
so I think that's how Chance
So
got around
he jumped the inside, jumped the triple to the inside.
stalled trying to get to the
Yeah,
inside.
bunch of brake. That's what it looked like. He
Yeah.
hasn't. He doesn't stall his bike. He's not that kind of guy.
Yes.
But
So
there he is sitting there.
I couldn't see him at that point because, like I said, they were gone. I was in third, and I thought that I was putting in my sprint laps that I know that I can do, and I was just watching them right away. So they were both going really fast, that moto, Gray especially, and then he stalled it. He took off with me right behind him, and then he continued to just hammer, and
Yep.
he went flying through the sand. And then when you start to drop off of that sand, that's always kind of like a washy section, it can be a little bit scary.
Because you guys were middle. You weren't.
Yeah.
You weren't up against the bank.
No,
and
we
you were
weren't
going
up
too
against the
fast
bank.
to stay. So you're kind of in a
Yeah.
section of the track that doesn't get used much.
Yep, and his rear tire broke loose and kicked to the left, and then it pitched him, and he high-sided. He went flying. He went about halfway down the hill, pounded his shoulder into the ground, and then rolled all the way to
Yeah.
the bottom.
I couldn't believe he got up and finished. The
Yeah,
moto. I mean, I just assumed, right? You just assumed that something's broken.
collarbone.
Yeah.
The way that he drove
Yeah.
his left shoulder in the ground, and I was like, there goes his collarbone. Like, you don't hit
Yep.
the ground that hard and keep going. But somehow he did.
And he actually got right back up and went after it again.
Yeah.
Like
That-
he was going.
That's
And I think he
impressive.
did race the other 25A moto after that, right?
He rode. It was 30 today.
The
38 today.
The 30A.
Yep.
So
yep.
he just because he didn't finish his second moto in that class, he did. So
Yep, he went
that-
1-1 in 38
you know,
after that.
So I guess he got his money. And,
Yeah, got his money
did,
and then
did what he had to
decided
do.
not to-
And I
yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
that's good. So.
Yep.
Well, Riley, what do you think? You got one more pro tip, or
Yeah, so if we're reading our little board here, we're wrapping it up. We have a month off of RMX races. So coming up, and I am not the best schedule guy by any means. I know that in Preston we have a works race coming up. I don't know the date on that. The 11th.
I believe it's 11th.
June 11th. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, don't quote me on that.
Unless you have
But-
a four-wheeler.
We were thinking about getting Sportsman's,
Yeah.
go and rent them, and
Okay.
go race the four-wheelers.
Okay, I'm in. But yeah, so we have a month off of RMX racing. Like I said, works race coming up in Preston. That's gonna be a fun one. Like I think everybody here, went to that. The one that we had last year, and it's a nice shake up. Besides that, regionals are about to hit us really hard. And regionals are gnarly. They're no joke. There's Washougal coming up, and then it just kind of snowballs after that. So good luck to everybody doing those. If you are, I guess where I would go with this is if you're not doing any regionals, if your next focus is just the next RMX race, Preston 4th of July, would be. We haven't really dealt with heat yet. We talked about this yesterday. We haven't dealt with any heat yet, and so your fitness might be a little deceiving, because it's gonna be hot in Preston. So you can crank out a 20-minute moto right now, maybe, no problem. You're like, man, this is sweet. I'm in shape, whatever. Take 4 weeks off and then see how that heat treats you, So ride your dirt bike, go for runs, ride your bike, do whatever. That would be my biggest tip for Preston is you've got 4 weeks off, and the next race you're going to come to is going to be blistering hot, if I had to guess. So do your homework.
Slaveless jerseys.
Sleeveless jerseys. Yeah. And you should race the works race, right? There's a class for everybody.
I'll definitely be
Yeah,
there.
those, right?
That'll be a
Everybody
good
should
time.
just race that one, so you get
Yep.
basically 2 weeks off. And
Yeah,
then you'd-
that's
and then you'd race that, so that's not bad.
Yep.
And then you've only got another 2 weeks again, or one more week, however it falls, before 4th of July.
yep.
I think you got a couple there that
Yeah.
you'll have off again, so maybe there'll be some Preston practices,
Yep.
something else like that to keep
Still
us riding.
Twilla.
Yep.
Still Twilla.
Oh, still
Wednesday
got Twilla on
nights.
Wednesday
Wednesday
nights.
nights,
Still
yeah.
got Stadium Cross on Tuesdays then.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So people got some ways to ride.
Yep. Yep. And if you're doing regionals, obviously you've already been going hot and heavy, So I would say just you've already been going hot and heavy. So this whole training thing that I'm talking about may not apply to you. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. But when you get to the regionals, just as high pressure as those situations can be, you have to find a way to take the pressure off. You have to find a way to take the pressure off, still knowing that you need that top 4 spot. It's sitting on the line saying, I have to be top 4, I have to be top 4, I have to be top 4 is just a recipe for disaster. You just stress yourself out. So you have to have a way. If RMX races are where you're comfortable, that's where you race every weekend, you have to put yourself in that mindset. Hey, I'm just at an RMX weekend. I just have to get a start and go execute and get it done, and try not to overthink the qualifying aspect of it.
Yeah, I'd like to think that all these riders are riding just as hard in an RMX race for an RMX finish. Gray Davenport wrecks hard. 37 years old, comes back out, finishes his second moto in the other class. Like he's going to do it, and so that's a great example for everybody below him to do the same thing. So I think that's great, because I've thought about it with Cam too. We don't want to go down there and turn that into a different race when we go to Washougal. We want it to be the same race we've been doing, and you got to be challenged to do your best, and it is what it is, right? You can't just go there and say, oh, this is a big race, I'm going to have to perform.
Exactly.
That's why we have all these races. That's why
it's just
we go
another
to
weekend.
all, That's why we go to all these races, right? Is so that it's just another one for us.
Exactly.
So Riley, the next RMX round will be in Preston, Cache Valley.
Yep.
What is your pro tip for that track?
That was
The pro tip, would just be to prepare. That's it, because it's going to be hot.
for the heat.
I'm talking. I want some insight.
That was the insight.
You should
That
hold
was
your
the
leg up
insight.
higher in the corners.
Yeah.
That's your
Don't hit the tires. Don't hit the.
Make ruts that
Tractor
go where ruts should go, not next to the tires.
If we wanted to rant about
tires.
that, I think all of us could rant about that.
All right, guys. Great show. Thank you, everyone, for sitting in here with us and knocking this out. And we'll see everyone at the next RMX round and 4th of July weekend.
Sounds good. Thanks.